Thanks for having us again. I'm kind of in our season wrap-up stage, I guess, and kind of rehash what we've done this season. Tom brought up our community service stuff. Me and Luke calculated today. We did 23 free clinics for the local youth organizations around town. And I think it showed up with our fan base this season, having a crowd of 900, having a crowd of 700, and then even on a cold, blustery day, having about 250. So I think that was awesome, and that's all a credit to our kids and their willingness to make an impact and change these young people's life in the community. So we're pretty excited about that, and we look forward to keeping those relationships going with the youth soccer communities in Rapid City. We think we can help them, and hopefully they can help us in the future too. We ended our season with two games this past week. On Wednesday, we traveled to Montana Billings, probably our best effort of the year against a team in the GNAC that is sniffing around an NCAA berth. We were really good in the first half on all sides. We had chances. Hunter Reese was being dynamic, gave them fits all the time down the right side. Cole Smith, we've been kind of platooning our goalkeepers, trying to find the right one, being our first year, and we've really kind of been in a development phase, having all our goalkeepers be freshmen and first time playing college. We kind of switched them out every game, sometimes at halftime to see how we go. But this young man has come a long way. I mean, he was a man coming out in packs of stuff, catching balls on crosses, on corner kicks. Was absolutely fantastic, and he was a big reason for our success on Wednesday. We got a compliment from their coach saying that our number 11, Andreas Skau, our Norwegian guy, was the best player on the park and maybe one of the best players they've seen all year. So that's good. We've come a long way from the first game to the 13th game, but it'll be interesting to see what we're like 9 months from now. Because this is, and all the soccer teams I've worked with before, after their freshman year and before their sophomore year is when they improve the most. Because now they'll be in the weight room for 9 months. They've lived the school part. So that stress is out of their body. And now we can just work on technique and powerlifting and all that kind of stuff to make them a little bit more ready instead of being high schooly when they come in as freshmen all the way. So we're looking forward to it. Another thing I'm looking forward to is making sure that after we eat that they're all not asleep 10 minutes after the bus starts rolling on bus trips. It's kind of hard for me and Luke to find somebody to talk to when they're all out cold. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if the other coaches kind of recognize this, but you can kind of tell what year kids are in school on the bus on the ride home. We have the juniors and seniors in the back studying or watching a movie. The sophomores are watching movies or listening to their iPods, and literally all the freshmen are asleep 10 minutes in full because of the stress of school and the getting used to the travel and the how fast and physical the game is. So that's good. So we're good. We got our goals from the weekend. This is a great little free kick from Andreas Skau. We do a great job of keeping it alive. John Ramsey fights, and Mario Pena, our freshman from Minnesota, is a poacher and was our leading scorer this year. He is good again. This is Mario Pena on a great counter, on a little diagonal run, was able to get behind, and just a crafty little touch to beat the goalkeeper to kind of trickle in. Great individual effort, great ball by Andreas Skau to get us in behind those guys and do it. And this is a great attack. 17 is actually our left defender, our left back, so he just went 80 yards racing by their team, played in a great service. We do a great job of fighting and keeping it alive and keeping the pressure on. A good ball by Hunter Reese to come in, and then poor clearance, Braden Drell, and then big Michael McGraw right there on the spot to keep it alive and finish it for our third goal of the game. So I'm excited to start the preparing for 13 right now. We got a great group of young guys. I think the future is bright, and I'm actually pretty anxious to see what we'll be like in 9 months after we're in the weight room and acclimated to school really and kind of going. I think the future is bright. So. Any questions for me?
Questions for Joe?
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see you a lot at home this year.
but in the last game, you were clearly superior
Mm-hmm.
to the team that you were playing. You had a lot of breaks down the wing, and from an observer's perspective, it looked like those guys could have gone and challenged the goalkeeper right away, but instead often crossed the thing and ended up losing the ball.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that process.
Yeah, that's something we've been working on all year, is for them to take on the game a little bit more and have those wingers get across and keep dribbling until they have to. I think that's just part of our learning curve. Right now, our guys like each other so much, and we're such a group-tight group that sometimes they're looking out for their buddy and they serve it a little bit early. We don't have enough, I don't know, selfishness on the team to really try to make that thing happen. So hopefully we'll cultivate that this spring. In the gym and when we're playing, where we have a little bit more confidence, where we can take on the game a little bit more in those situations. But I think it's just the nature of the guys we're dealing with, being freshmen and wanting to play with their teammates and don't want to be that guy that is perceived as doing too much. So we're going to try to hopefully have one or two do a little bit more next year.
20 players on this year's team.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, when you were first hired, you said you wanted to bring in 30. What's on the horizon as you go out and begin recruiting?
Great question. Actually, recruiting's gone great for us. We need to get a little bit better in some of our spots. I think we're close. We'll probably bring in somewhere between 12 and 15 kids. We have 3 kids on campus, 2 Division I transfers that make us better already. So being very long-term oriented right now, I think we're already better for 13, but we're getting a lot of interest all over the place. So if we can bring in 10 kids, 12 kids, 15 kids that give us some stars and some guys that give us a little bit more depth, I think we're going to be competitive right away. We were competitive this year. Never got blown out. Had one hard weekend of travel that we didn't do the greatest, but we're close. So hopefully we can get some things shaken out and we can improve the areas that we need to improve with the outside backs and outside midfielders, and all of a sudden we're in the thick of it for year 2.
What does the schedule look like?
A lot like this year. We're on the road a lot. We're kind of at the mercy of when we're playing, but it looks like we'll have a couple more home weekends than we had this weekend. It looks like we'll have 3, which will be good, instead of 2. But we're still sniffing around some other things. I think there's some things going on in the area that might work out for us, where hopefully we can get into a league, and then my schedule blows up, but that means I'm not looking for 18 games. I'm looking for 4, and that makes it a lot easier. So the schedule right now is not – it will be similar to this year, but I'm hoping that it blows up, and then all of a sudden we're at home 6 weekends instead of 3.
Other questions for Joe?
All right. Thank you. Thanks for everything.